decided to make the biggest mistake of our lives and go live with video. 2 mistakes, right? Oh, man. We have a very special show for you here today. We have got Justin Riley from the Bama Standard podcast video show. How's it going, Justin?
Man, it's game day. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Petty, that is a nasty looking shirt you're wearing.
Game day. Hotty Toddy. The rebellion is coming, T-Town. Get ready.
Well, let's just jump off real fast. Let's hit this thing running with a bang, guys. Give me who's going to win the game real quick. Justin.
Man, I thought we'd save that for the end of the show, but
you got to pick the score at the end.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to go Stephen A. Smith and go on an epic rant and put a curse on us, but Alabama's going to win. However, we're going to earn it today. I mean, this is not going to be pushover, regardless of what the spread may say and may indicate. I don't feel like it's going to be that easy. There ain't nothing easy about today, but it could go down as another classic in Bryant-Denny.
I believe so. My boy Petty over there's nodding his head. What are you thinking about this, Petty?
Well, I've already jinxed one Rebel with my jersey. This is probably the first Rebel jersey I've ever bought, and the player that wears it broke his foot in practice this week. So I don't know if y'all know this, but Mingo is not going to be at the game. However, the last time we came to Bryant-Denny, we didn't have Laramie Tunsil, who was the best player on the team, and we walked out of that place with a victory. Wait, last time we went to Bryant-Denny, I think we got beat by 80. Let me scratch that. Last time
let's get our facts straight here, buddy.
Last time we went to Bryant-Denny and the game actually mattered to anybody outside of, the two fan bases. It looked pretty good for the red and blue. So I've got a feeling, man. I've got a feeling today's going to be special for my boys.
Petty's feeling a victory over there, and you know what? This is how I feel about it, Petty. I went to the Alabama-Miami game. I was walking around before the game, and look, all the niceties is over. This is done.
Oh, yeah.
I'm about to give you what I think right now. I walked around and watched all those Miami players talk about, number one, are there really even any tides in Alabama? No, yes, there are. There are tides in Alabama. Just for all you Miami fans out there, I get it. Y'all have the ocean, but there are tides in Alabama. They were very, very excited, very, very hopeful. And I didn't say a mean word to them before the game.
It's like 92 all over again. They just don't forget, do they?
Oh, no. You don't learn your lessons sometimes. But, I mean, most of the people that I saw there were probably babies in 92. So, cut them a little slack, right?
If even that,
they were probably babies the last time Miami was relevant when Shockey and Portis and crew was roaming the sidelines.
Well, I'm going to reel us in for a second, guys. I know most of the people here know, if you listened to our show before, we're full of shit. That's why we brought Justin today, because he actually knows things. He has a little bit of inside connection with the Bama program, and he's been watching these teams pretty closely. And, we were having a podcast the other night. We were trying to get some insights, but, man, Marvin Constant was just a showstopper. We couldn't stop him, so we had to let Marvin talk. But today is our chance to let Justin tell us what he thinks about this game. So why don't you shoot it at us, Justin?
Well, Marvin, my co-host on Bama Standard, has a wealth of knowledge. So when he gets on a roll, man, sometimes you just got to let it be. And he's a guy who played the game, so he knows the insides and outs. He's a lot more knowledgeable than us armchair quarterbacks who think we know what we're talking about. Matter of fact, he adds more credibility to our show because he actually played the game. So, when you let the expert on, you got to let him do his thing. But yeah,
absolutely. 100% agree on that.
But yeah, I follow both teams very closely. I pick Alabama apart. I'm very objective. I'm not one of those Tide fans who puts on the crimson and white glasses year round in all situations and just, and makes my opinions based off of that. Now, I look at the reality of things. I actually bring logic to the conversation, which is absent for a lot of folks who call into the Paul Feinbaum show. So,
all right, yeah, or us, Daniel and I. Logic to our conversation doesn't work. For those logic experts around there, I'd like to point something out in my background over there. Alabama, where legends are made.
Right.
Diploma from Alabama with my name on it. Does that, to our logic people out there, does that actually indicate that I am a legend?
Well, by that metric, so is the guy wearing red and blue today.
Oh, we'll give you that.
It's Michael's birthday. We need to mention it's Michael's birthday today.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Birthday.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm 41. Your Petty's favorite Dave song.
Yes, it's the greatest.
Now all the people that are social engineering my sites where I use my password as my birthday everywhere knows how to hack me, right?
Yeah, you got to change those passwords.
Well, hey, you just broke the news of Jonathan Mingo before ESPN did.
What about that, guys?
Wow. Like first episode.
See, we are bringing something to the table today.
Yeah, man. And look, Mingo, when Ole Miss lost Elijah Moore to the draft last year, the big question was how do you replace that production? Because it was quite obvious that he was Corral's go-to guy last year. And Mingo kind of had a case of the drops. He hadn't stepped up. He was a big-time prospect coming out of Brandon, Mississippi, and there was a lot of expectation on him. And look, man, we're in this microwave society. Sometimes kids take a year or two to get used to the SEC level. And Mingo this year had kind of had his coming out party. He had a lot of big games. He was making some really good catches. And really, Wednesday of game week, Bama, and you lose your second or third receiver to a broken foot. That's a big loss for Ole Miss. It's going to be, and especially because Kiffin, like Saban talking to his team through the media, one of the things Kiffin has pushed to his team is for some receivers to step up outside of the three. So that could be a key today that popped up midweek.
Well, Daniel, number one, keep wearing that jersey, buddy. It sounds like it's the kind of luck that I need for this game. So keep it up, bud. Number two, I think you and I had discussed this yesterday and gotten almost in a little bit of a heated debate regarding the Ole Miss running back stable, which I believe Snoop Connor is a better running back than Jerry Neely. However, the reason why I don't think that Ely has been featured that much is because y'all been featuring one, man. He's been your star, and that's kind of what I was leaning at on that. Now, you bringing me the news that one's not going to be playing today, that lets me know that I'm probably going to see a lot more Ely, right?
Yeah, you're going to see Ely and Drummond, and I mean, because that's going to put Ely more in a running back spot, and you may see more Snoop Connor in the first half. Kiffin's kind of going, again, I hate to keep lashing back to Bama, but yeah, a lot of what Kiffin learned and got better at was at his time in the capstone, but he's been doing the stable of running back things. And Snoop Connor, our big bruising back, you hadn't really seen him until the third and fourth quarter. You may see him a little sooner today with the loss of our key receiver because they have been working Ely in a receiver role, in a dual role. May see a lot more of it today due to the need more than scheme plan.
After watching Kiffin at Bama for 3 years, one thing I know is that he puts the ball in his playmaker's hands in space, and that playmaker's been Mingo this year. All right, who's going to step up? My guess is Ely, because I said that he wasn't doing much yesterday, and that's the way the universe works. It likes to make me look stupid, so here we go.
Well, he's used Drummond is the one. The crazy thing was in the preseason, Kiffin kind of tabbed Braylon Sanders as the guy he expected to be the breakout, and to the point it was Drummond in the slot, put the big guy in the slot, and then Mingo on the outside. So yeah, we'll see, man. It changes things today. It kind of changes our argument yesterday, like you said. So,
all right,
excellent. Well, I don't know if I'm happy about that or worried about that, to be perfectly honest. I really don't think it matters that much in the Kiffin offense. He's going to get the ball to people in space, and they're going to make plays. You know what I mean? I'm just hoping we can kind of minimize those today. And like I said, everybody's model 50% of it. Bama's winning this by 2 touchdowns. I want the 50%. I don't want the other 2. I don't want the blowout on Bama's side. I don't want the Ole Miss winning the game side. I'm trying to stick to the averages.
I want to know, Justin, what is the conversation between Pete Golden and Nick Saban been this week? What's the plan for Ole Miss? Are we going into that drop 7 to try to confuse Corral, or y'all going press man and bring the heat and try to make him beat you like you do everybody?
I think Saban's probably impressed upon him to run drop 7 because man-to-man is not working right now, especially if we're not getting pressure up front. And here as of late, which is a big surprise to Alabama fans, given who we had coming back, we have not been getting pressure on the quarterback. In the Miami game, yes, it was there. But then, come time to play in the swamp, man, if you're watching closely, our DL was getting pushed back, several yards. And
we were also terrified of the run, and we stopped rushing upfield and started trying to hold up our offensive linemen and keep 5 from, sprinting down the middle for another 20-yard gain like he did half of the game.
So
I don't know if that's scheme or if I don't know. That's been confounding me completely. I have no idea what's going on right there, and that's why I'm an amateur.
That'll be interesting, man. Because look, games are won at the line of scrimmage, and Ole Miss actually has a few guys, big nasties, and Nick Broker and Ben Brown, and they got that. I'm gonna mess his name up real quick, but we got the center transfer from Utah, man. Ole Miss's offensive line is actually pretty solid. So, man, that'll watch those first few plays and see which direction the line goes, and that could be a good indicator of what way the day may go.
You scored 40 last year without really a line.
Yeah, so, we still had some of those guys. They were young.
They were there, but I mean, they weren't effective. And basically, what Kiffin did was run away from the pressure all the time, and just took our line out of the game, which I'm sure is what he's going to try to do today. I expect a lot of those deep handoffs where they get time to look for the holes in the line and try to get one mismatch instead of hoping all 11 people do their job.
So in my excitement of waking up at 5:30, I did decide to watch whatever the SEC Nation. I didn't realize last year that Ole Miss set the record for yards against Alabama's defense. I didn't know that.
Yeah, 600 and something crazy.
Well,
but then again, Bama scored 80.
Every time we got the ball is the answer.
Yeah, every time. Punter was not needed. I think I even made that joke before the game. If I was Nick Saban, don't waste your punter. Like
bring an extra linebacker.
Yeah, bring an extra linebacker. Your punter. Tell your punter to go get a job with Uber and make some money that night.
Well, you guys have kind of jumped into what I was wanting to start with today, and that was, Petty brought a good one with Mingo being out, but what are the keys to the game that nobody's really paying attention to right now? Everybody knows that Ole Miss's offense is lethal. Everybody knows Bama's defense got put on the ropes against Florida, right? So that's just the same old thing everybody's been parroting out there. Tell me something that is an X factor, a true X factor in this game. Where do you think it's really going to be won? And Justin, why don't you start with that one since you got it?
Yeah, I'd love to take this. I've mentioned this on my podcast, the Bama Standard, before, but one of my main concerns right now, other than the defense, which is quite obvious, is the offense right now and the growing pains we're having. The offense doesn't really have a true identity right now. And there's inconsistencies at wide receiver, one of which, and this is not going to be something the Bama fans really want me to say or really want to hear. John Mechie has been very underwhelming this year so far. He had some big catches against Miami, but he really hasn't been that number one guy in our offense that we were expecting. This season. One of the things that really struck me as odd was when our running game was doing very well against Florida, Bill O'Brien completely abandoned it. So that makes me question his play calling right now. That's a strength. B-Rob is ready to have an amazing year. Run your top dog.
Here's the I don't know if anybody noticed the first drive, maybe the second drive in that Florida game. B-Rob hyperextended his knee pretty bad. It was one of the more ugly scenes that I've ever seen where he didn't come away actually injured. I'm wondering how much that played in his decision to kind of come away from the run game a little bit.
Well, I mean, even if he wasn't 100%, I mean, Jason McClellan was still having an amazing game, and this is a guy that I look at him, and I see a Sean Alexander. Is he worthy of that lofty praise? We don't know yet, but he definitely has big play ability. But we got to feed our horses, man. And one thing I'm also looking at is while the wide receivers are not really stepping up, the tight ends are. Bryce Young has been looking to Jaleel Billingsley and Cameron Latu. So be looking at that. That's going to be very interesting. Until somebody steps up. Jameson Williams has the ability to be that game breaker, but he'll show up one game.
Showed that in the 2 kickoff returns last week.
Right. He'll show up one game.
Against Mississippi High School, let's be clear.
Dude, 100-yard kickoff returns. You ain't done it against any other high school in the history.
I run out of breath before I got there, dude. I wouldn't make it 100 yards anyway.
No. Yeah. Other than his game against Bishop Sycamore, I mean, USM, he did well against Miami.
Oak Grove High.
Yes, but when it came to the next week against Mercer, he didn't really do hardly anything. I can't remember any solid contribution he made. He made some plays here and there against Florida, but he didn't turn the tide of the game, which is something that I was expecting. So, like I said, there's inconsistencies right now. The wide receiver group, the offensive line is getting better. I like to see that because I want my quarterback to be alive, come the end of the day. Bryce Young on the run and improvising. His eyes are always downfield, man. He makes smart decisions. However, there is one thing I do want him to work on. If there's nothing open downfield and there's green grass, pull it down and take off. You know, he's hesitated a couple of times, like against Miami, I think against Mercer, but more evident was against Florida when he could have literally just, you know, tiptoed into the end zone. But
he would have taken a hit in that one. He would have taken a significant hit for that touchdown right there. And at his size right now, I mean, what I want from him is 20 more pounds and 2 more inches, but I'm not going to get the inches, right? I do want to see a little bit more weight on his body before I start throwing at those SEC linebackers. Reason I say that is I've been watching my boy Petty lose his mind every time Matt Corral tucks and runs because he knows how bad it is if he gets that wrong hit. Now, how many quarterbacks get hurt when they're actually scrambling versus just standing back there and getting nailed because somebody let somebody through the offensive line, right? So, you know, how do you really, I mean, I see, I'm with you. If you got green grass, go get it, but please slide for me, buddy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not, look, the kid in me that fell in love with John Elway is cool and all, but the older dude in me that wants my quarterback to make it through the game is like, come on, man.
Well, everybody wants to kill Bryce Young. Every single defensive player in the SEC wants that shot at him, I bet. So I'm nervous when he finally gets one.
Good call, Alan. Nice. Never.
I got to let that one on there. Nice
Michael
job,
Scott.
Awesome.
2 inches. That's
I was
what
talking
they gave
vertical
Dustin
inches,
McClintock
not horizontal
in
here.
1999.
Early in the morning, man. I love that. I love the comedy early in the morning.
2 inches. That's what the line judges give Alabama when they need that damn first down when McClintock was running the ball in 1999, wasn't it, Justin?
But you're still bitter about that. That was 1999. You're still bitter about that, man. I tell you, man, you Ole Miss folks, y'all don't let stuff go. Whether it's negative or positive, it's the world against Ole Miss.
Oh wow, there's a familiar face from Facebook who is speaking the truth right there, Petty.
Hey, I can get you one of these shirts if you want me. I'll put it in the mail for you over to the ATL. You know you like. Come on, these colors. You can't deny these colors. I mean, swag when we walk out on the field. We may not win all the games. We might not even win all the parties. I went to Alabama. That whole party thing, but we win the beauty contest. We look good.
You guys did look good. And I mean, yeah. Okay, so the Tulane and the Ole Miss game this year had the best uniforms. Watch that for about 30 seconds.
Them Tulane unis are sweet.
They were sharp, man. You know, if the SEC expands to 300 people, we might be able to squeeze Tulane back in one day, right?
Hey,
when the NCAA
more
is
SEC
just
championships
the SEC.
in Mississippi State.
Hey, how about we get rid of Missouri and take Tulane? Because Missouri really serves no point.
Even trade right there, buddy. I mean, academics and athletics, I think you got to even trade.
I'm going to be honest, man. I'd rather have the city of New Orleans than St. Louis.
You got a point there.
Yeah.
But don't we already have the city of New Orleans kind of with the Bengal Tigers?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. But still.
At least the ones that smell like corn dogs. We got those.
We may not agree on much today because our teams are going at it, but I think we can all agree an every other year road trip to New Orleans versus Columbia, Missouri is not even a debate.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. Shoot, Ole Miss schedules Tulane for that reason alone, just so our fans can go to New Orleans and party down there every other year.
It's great.
Good recruiting point right there, huh?
Good strategy. I like that.
Well, we're trying to stay in New Orleans as much as we can these days and recruit, if you know what I mean, since Saban's going on damn Monday Night Football doing it.
Well, Daniel, I'm going to regret this big time, and I know I don't want to hear it, but go ahead and tell me what is your secret to the key to the game and how Ole Miss is going to pull it off.
Man, I thought about this because I don't want to be cliche, but I mean, let's take the crowd, not the crowd can the magnitude of the game, the moment this is the biggest moment that any of these kids that have been on that team for Ole Miss have played in since they've been at Ole Miss. They're doing it against, look, man, you walk into Bryant-Denny, it's a different ball game, man. That is the mecca of college football. They are the kings for a reason. So when you walk in, it's a different deal. You've heard players talk about when they walk through that tunnel and you hear Bear Garble on I ain't never been nothing but a winner. And hell, is that what he says? That'll put a little bit of fear in your soul. Yeah, Garble, I win every damn game. It's a different deal. So
paraphrasing.
But man, can they handle the moment? Can they limit the turnovers like Matt has all year? And if they can, Matt's big game, man. I hate because Ole Miss has taken me out to the barn and donkey kicked me in the manhood so many times on Saturdays when I've got my hopes up. But man, I have started to believe in what Kiffin's put on the field. I do believe in what Matt Corral has. And if they can limit the turnovers, if they can handle that moment, they'll be in there in the fourth quarter again. They'll be there every bit to the end.
I'm with you 100% on the fact that if Ole Miss limits turnovers, it's going to be hard for us to get that lead. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that I'm hoping for. And here comes my crimson glasses or whatever. This is all my hopes. And I told you last year after that game was over, Daniel, I was like, I'm watching this game. I'm going back through the tape, and it looks to me like sometimes Kiffin is running the entire team one way, triggering our defense that way, and then running a play to wide open space over here. And that, to me, you have to know how the defense operates for that to happen. You have to have been intimately involved in that team to know that. And it came out in an article by somebody on ESPN this week that Saban was joking that Kiffin took notes of all the plays that gave him headaches while he was there and threw every single one of them at him last year. And I call those touchdown plays, and I'm hoping and I'm thinking that's why Kiffin was so mad that they didn't win last year, because he knew that he had thrown the kitchen sink at us and we still got him. And that was probably frustrating for him, even though the fans were excited in the loss. And I can't blame them, because that was one hell of a game. Another point I'm thinking, everybody's giving Bill O'Brien a hard time. Okay. Deservedly. He deserves it, especially for that Florida call, the call in that Florida game. That just wasn't good. However, I'm hoping, and again, crimson glasses, this is not based on any real fact. I'm hoping his experience in the NFL, his ability to control the clock is a little bit better than what Sarkisian was last year. Our offense was so lethal. It was hard not to score quickly, and that kept our defense on the field. And after hearing Marvin talk about when you get to 80 plays, you just want to go home. I'm hoping we don't get to 80 plays. I'm hoping we can slow this game down, keep that Matt Corral offense off the field, keep Lane Kiffin sitting over there thinking and not holding up his arms and doing touchdown plays. And that's where I think we can get an advantage if we can do that. Now, mark my words, if we fumble the open kickoff, I'm turning off the TV and I'm going to Carowinds to ride roller coasters.
If Matt Corral rolls back, throws one off his back foot, as 27 dudes come at him and it bounces off 7 helmets and we're running and you're out.
If there's a prop bet out there that Ole Miss scores on their first drive, take it. I don't care if it's minus 10,000. Take that bet. Ole Miss scores on their first drive.
Hey, don't you put that. Hey, you stop that reverse psychology on this show, Dan.
Rat poison, baby.
I know what you stop that right now. No, don't you put that rat poison on us, Ricky Bobby.
Doing everything I can today, Petty.
I know, dude. We're in the Bama Ole Miss Respect Week this week has been absolutely hilarious. Nobody, we're on a show that don't matter, and we're trying not to put any bulletin board material.
Right. We got our 20 streamers right now. If you combine them all from all of our platforms, one of them just showed up here. This guy, that's the pilot friend that everybody knows from Week 0 Sports, Mr. Mark Kronberg over there, and he calls Petty and I every week to steal our picks so he can get in the lead in our giant pick'em league. So shout out to old Kronberg there, and we're going to give you bad picks.
How do I make powder blue? I'm the sexiest thing you've ever woke up to, Kronberg. Wow. My powder blue. You can't see. He says, how do I make? Come on.
There it is.
Y'all
powder blue is a beautiful color. It's just that Ole Miss thing that's written on the top today that makes it look bad. But you guys know I'm a fan.
Can we discuss something real quick? The funny thing though, it's not powder blue. This isn't powder. This is like UCLA Italy blue. It's
powder blue is lighter than that a little,
sissy
right?
Blue, as Coach O's
it's sissy blue.
This is actually sissy blue.
Sissy blue.
God, if Crayola doesn't make a sissy blue crayon this year, they're missing a huge opportunity.
Yeah, UCLA's already jumped on that marketing wise, man. They got the T-shirts printed up. It says my sissy blue shirt. Man, great marketing strategy.
Brilliant. Oh, it was, man. Hey, you think Saban would make a comment like that when we play the Rebs?
Well, maybe look, give him 20 years, let the freaking Alzheimer's kick in and all that, and we're going to get a show.
Oh, here we go. Kronberg's trying to get betting advice. He's already throwing it out there. He's trying to pick our brains, get a pick.
Ooh, 16.5. I'll tell you, this is a good thing. Actually, this is my segue, guys. We wanted to talk a little bit about squeeze in some other SEC games that are going on this week.
There's other games going on?
A little bit.
There's the football universe is in Tuscaloosa, and then the other part of the universe is playing them. So,
right. Well, here you go. Look at this. ESPN And I'm going to give a big shout out to ESPN, caring nothing but about money and not about college football. Fuck you guys, to be perfectly honest. Sorry for the language anybody's listening live. But look, the biggest game this week is happening in Tuscaloosa. It's Alabama versus Ole Miss. You ask anybody in the country, that's the game, and they go bring game day over to a noon game where Georgia's going to get embarrassed in their house. Whether they lose or not, they're not covering that 18. So all you people in Pick'em better not be changing your picks based on this, because I tagged that as a 2-pointer.
Oh, what do you think? Man, he tagged. Okay, so Justin, we've got this huge pick'em league, and past winners can tag games that double up points. And Michael tagged this game. He is high on the Hogs.
Hogs is a lock, man. At 18, it was a lock. At 14, I still think it's a lock. I think that Arkansas team is solid on both sides of the ball. They're aggressive on defense. They're aggressive on offense. This is not what we're used to with Arkansas. I think they're going to give Georgia all they can handle because Georgia's offense sucks.
Justin? I feel you feel a little different on this.
Yep, we got the opposite here.
Well, yes, I will say Georgia's offense has been very underwhelming, to say the least, because the only time they really showed up this season is against inferior opponents. Vandy, South Carolina, UAB. They showed up nowhere against Clemson, who is reeling right now.
Hell, they made us learn that quarterback's name for 1 week, and now we've all forgot it.
Right.
Yunga I can say it wrong again because it don't matter anymore.
And to be honest with you, man, I'm starting to forget JT Daniels' names because what exactly has he done?
Does anybody remember Ohio State's quarterback either?
Where's that high-powered quarterback that we were expecting? Is it because he just can't swing in the SEC, or is it because his Kirby Smart does not know how to run an offense, or is it a little bit of both?
I think Kirby Smart actually takes power away from his offense. I think he sits down his offensive coordinator and says that we have to do ball control. And ball control is not always the right answer in football. If you can run off and leave somebody and get ahead of them 20 or 30 points, that's what you should do. You know what I mean? If you're playing an offense that you're, let's just be honest, a little scared of, that's when you try to control the ball. I don't see any reason why that Georgia would do that in any game except save 1 or 2 every year, and they do it against the crappiest teams out there. I am just disappointed completely in Kirby, but it makes me happy, to be perfectly honest. Now, he has got a defense that looks great so far against nobody, but let's see how it turns out against Arkansas. I bet Arkansas puts 25 on them easy.
The 3 yards in a cloud of dust offense, man, is just not doing it anymore. He's got to adapt, or he's going to be left behind. The Georgia faithful are going to oust him. They don't have patience at all.
When that is the baffling thing to me. Okay, so Saban's your protege, even and you're the defensive guy that was kind of Saban's tank for all those years. But you saw Saban. You were there when he made the change with Lane Kiffin.
Right.
You go to this new school and you revert back to pre-Lane Kiffin. I don't understand his unwillingness. Me and Michael like to call Coach O, and we called him O Chiswick here for several years. And
the parallels are just uncanny. Go listen to episode 23. Now,
I'm about to start calling, and look, this is probably a dumb comparison because Dean Smith's one of the greatest of all times, but the joke was who could keep Michael Jordan from scoring 20? But Dean Smith, nobody else. Georgia has way too much talent on that field to be not scoring 60, 70 points and taking shots downfield. Kirby, you can take shots downfield against Clemson and good teams when your defense is that good. Take the risk. If you get an interception, let your defense bail you out. They did it in the Clemson game.
That's the beauty of having a great defense is you can do whatever you want on offense. Why in God's name is he not doing anything?
Right. And you got to keep other defenses honest, man. So mix it up. I just don't understand his way of thinking, because if he adapted, he turned the reins over to his offensive coordinator like Coach Saban did, like Coach O did when Joe Burrow was there. Could you imagine what Georgia could be capable of given the talent level they had?
I have to stop you right there. Coach O didn't do shit. That was Joe Brady, and he's up here.
No, that's what I'm saying. He turned the reins over to Joe Brady.
Sure, he did. Yeah,
he took his hands out of it. Mm-hmm. And that's what you got to do. Kirby Smart, for whatever reason, still thinks it's 1995.
Yeah.
And and it's just, like I said, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And
we're him and Muschamp. We're both starting DBs in the SEC. We know how that will play out today.
Right.
Hey, good call, Kronberg, on the overs in the first quarter. Post it. What's the over for the Ole Miss Bama first quarter?
Oh, yeah, that's probably a good one. That's
whatever the over for the Ole Miss Bama first quarter. If it's
I'm betting it's not less than 10.5, 20, like 14.
Yeah, if it's under 20, Kirby should never even take on.
Good job. Alan, I agree with you right there. He should just let it go. Now, first off, Kirby should be a defensive coordinator, and he'd still be the best. And I believe in that 100%. If he wants to come back to Bama, we got a slot.
Well, he didn't pay attention to Saban when it came to offense, because Saban even had, Saban had enough wherewithal that, hey, the times are changing. I got to change with it.
Right. Absolutely.
It's going to bite Georgia. It's good.
The difference in, and this is one that Petty and I have talked about, and today we'll do a little more X's and O's. We try to avoid that sometimes in the other show, but that's what today's all about, right? The big difference in what changed in the SEC is where the offense attacks the defense. They're not attacking at the line of scrimmage anymore. They're not attacking 5 and 7 yards down the field, which is the last 50 years of football. They are attacking 15 to 25 yards down the field. And you know what happens? You only got to be 1 out of 3 in that, right? If you're attacking a 2, 3, or 4 yard play, you got to get 3 or 4 plays right in a row. And anybody that's ever played Mario Brothers knows it's not how hard it is. It's how many times you got to do it in a row, because you're going to screw up before you get to the last jump. You know what I mean? So this new philosophy is infinitely better for football or for offensives, because you only have to get 1 out of 3 plays right, and you got a first down every time, right? And that's what they're doing, and that's what Kirby is asleep at the wheel on, to be honest.
Yeah, no argument there.
So
well, it sounds like we all, even though
with that said,
Georgia
covers, right?
Can Arkansas do anything if the run gets shut down? That's a big if.
Absolutely.
Has KJ Jefferson improved enough to be able to win a game through with his arm? I don't know yet. He's got one of the best receivers in the game right now in Treylon Burks.
Yes,
but
absolutely. If you were watching last week, KJ went out of the game and they only lost 1 drive over it. The backup quarterback came right back in, and their running game is not about handing the ball and running over people. It's about giving their backs and their quarterback the ball 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage and finding a hole and running through it. And it's very effective if you guys watch it. And you will see they scramble at quarterback as good as Ole Miss. They run. I saw some similarities in that Arkansas and Ole Miss offense. So Pittman might be the kind of guy that pays attention to other coaches and learns from them.
He's very smart.
You've got to give Pittman all kind of love right now, man. They were as bad as Ole Miss was. Arkansas was even more of an afterthought when Pittman got there. But the difference was, Kiffin was that splash hire, and Pittman became kind of a running joke. How are you going to hire an offensive line coach from Georgia with no experience? Good gosh, man. Everybody's eating it. Yours are eating a lot of crow on that dude.
Alan, I've been playing a lot of Nintendo Switch lately, so it's kind of in my brain here. I went back and beat all the Marios, and you can rewind. Here's a fun story. Let's jump off football for 10 seconds. On the Nintendo Switch, you can put all the old games in, and when you screw up, you can rewind and do it again. So it makes it a lot more fun.
Like beating Zelda now, and dungeons and all that stupid crap.
Top Gun. Oh, you can't land that. You can't land that thing. Give it another try.
Man,
all right, I got to give a shout out to my boy Wes Roy. He was probably the person that initiated my hate towards Alabama when I moved to Tuscaloosa. I really liked Alabama, and then high school people are jackasses. And my buddy Wes Roy meets me in the weight room, and he's got his arms crossed. He said, "So you're from Mississippi? You're Ole Miss or Bama?" I was like, "Well, I'm an Ole Miss fan." He said, "Well, they suck." I'm like, "Well, you know what? So does Alabama." Unfortunately, they didn't. But so we kind of fought for a while. I just got a text. Ironically, Wes is now in Mississippi coaching at Enterprise High School. They played Morton, home of Deuce McAllister, one of my favorite Rebels of all time.
Oh, wow.
They beat Morton last night, and his son is actually playing for him right now. Made a big hit at the goal line and caused a fumble. So huge shout out to my boy Wes and Chase Roy. Thanks for the motivation, Wes.
Fantastic. Well, all right, so it seems like we've got Justin. Justin's got Georgia on the cover. I'm on Arkansas. Tie break it, Daniel.
The line, look, man, I get into the whole Vegas conspiracy stuff. I feel like baits are real because they are. I feel like this is a baited line. I feel like it's baited to take Arkansas because I'm so connected to the SEC. But as Michael's pointed out, that's actually not the outer perception. It seems like more people are on Georgia. But that damn line. Call me a rat. I'll take the bait. I'm on Arkansas. Until Georgia can prove in a big game that they have the offense to beat somebody by that much, I can't believe it. But my fear is their defense is good enough to completely shut Arkansas down and win a ugly game 24-3. So there you go.
Here's another factor, man.
24-3 is 21s, and that's a Georgia cover for Mr. Daniel. And let me tell everyone a little secret. So last week when I was laser focused on the Hogs, watching them dismantle our Texas A&M Aggies, Daniel had his butt in the water floating down the river, not watching anything. So
that is true. Take note of that. I was on the Ocoee with a Wicked Weed Sour as trying not to run into every damn branch or miss my turn, and Michael was actually studying the Hogs. So,
Look at that, guys. First off, shout out to one of our founding sponsors, Custom Plumbing and Gas Fitters of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They don't like to clean up your poop, but they can make a lot of very good plumbing stuff for you, right?
That is right.
My boy David knows about that, and he's against me too, so I like my odds.
I do want to oppose the question regarding the Arkansas-Georgia game. Is Arkansas ready for that big moment? You know, Georgia's had plenty of big moments. They've been in games like this. They have the experience. And that's a big factor, you know, going into games like this. When you got an upstart team trying to find their way and trying to, you know, make their mark in the world of college football, games like this, if you don't have experience, can be a little overwhelming. Can they take that next step and handle the moment?
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, let's look at it from the other side as the devil's advocate. I'm thinking of some big moments in history of Georgia football. I'm thinking the blackout. I'm thinking 2nd and 22. I'm thinking the SEC championship game. I'm not sure if they can handle the moment.
I got more confidence in them than Arkansas. You know,
it helps when you've got, you know, 80,000 grown men barking behind you, I guess.
Right. No, don't get me wrong. You know, I love the story that's going on in Fayetteville. Love Sam Pittman and what he's doing. He's changing the culture. He's changing the way things are being done there. He's doing things they normally wouldn't have done. But, you know, Georgia has a little bit more of an edge here because they've been in the big games. And, you know, do they always come out on top? Like you mentioned, the blackout game in 2008 against Alabama, you know, no, they did not.
I love that one. That's one of my favorites.
The blackout. That worked well.
Yeah. And to be clear, I think Arkansas has a chance to win.
Here. I'm sorry, Bart.
No, I mean, I think Arkansas has a chance to win. I think Georgia pulls this game out. I just think 18 points is stupid, y'all. And it is down to 16 now. That's still kind of crazy if you watch this Arkansas team. I think, you know, it may get trashy at the end, and I may eat these words, but.
That's for Davo.
Man, get that crap out of here.
Here you go, Davo.
All right, let's mute Petty real quick. He's muted. No more talking.
Man, nothing sucks like a big orange.
Hey, that was for our boy Davo. He's God bless his soul. He's a big Orange fan, and he knows the Tide is cheating him somehow today. Right now, the Tide is cheating Tennessee. You can bet in his soul.
I like the Shane Beamer's response in the post game. I love that everybody's just focused on Georgia and nobody's paying attention to the Hogs. I don't think it's that Georgia's not going to cover. I think it's that Arkansas is not going to let them.
Alan, do you think Shane Beamer was saying anything outside of, like, maybe there was some read between the lines there when he made that comment about all those 5 stars? Like, maybe they bought some of those 5 stars?
Yeah, and maybe they should have done a lot better with them.
I mean, Nakobe Dean, I know, boy, if I've got a Georgia fan that is tuned in, he's about to turn it off or throw the screen right now. But there's one Nakobe Dean who's lighting heads right now at Georgia that I'm pretty sure was committed to Ole Miss at about midnight before signing day until the bag showed up, until, you know, the tractor showed up like it did on Blue Chips.
Did he get that at McDonald's bag too, or what's the equivalent over there in Georgia?
Dude, they slinging it at Georgia. But look, we stole Laramie bag in Georgia. We stole Laramie Tunsil.
Who later dimed y'all out on national TV for paying him.
Well, that's right.
Good job on draft night of all nights. ESPN national coverage. Was
that a bad look? I couldn't remember that. I got blackout drunk directly after. I just started shooting Everclear. When Tunsil said the gas mask 10 seconds prior.
Patty, a lot of your stories you tell me involve you getting drunk. Do we need to have like a talk intervention?
Have you watched Ole Miss for 30 years? There's a lot of getting drunk involved to get through this shit.
I have, and as an Alabama fan, I've enjoyed.
Look, it's on our most historic nights. We do the dumbest stuff. That draft night was epic, man. That was the that was, the unraveling of it all. But we're back. Look, don't stop this negativity.
Me? I didn't do nothing.
Here's what I'm going to do for you guys. I see it's getting complicated. So I'm going to end the Georgia conversation because I think we've already established where we are on that. Again, I think Georgia should win this game handily. All right, handily, 7-10 points. Okay. I think they're going to play the slow game, and that's what I'm looking for. But speaking of slow games, we've got the upstart Auburn Tigers heading down to Bayou Bengal country this week.
Upstart. Oh boy, man. Yeah, we're trying to give some love. We got
Upstart. I mean, they got a new coach. They're trying to get their stuff together. It's Upstart. It's not a established national championship program like the Louisiana Bayou Bengals. However, it's only a 3-point line here, guys. Like 2.5, 3-point, 3.5, depending on where you're looking. LSU's favorites, and if you know Vegas, I mean, they give you 3 points for being at home, probably 4 for being at home in Death Valley down there, or whatever they call that place, that Clemson. I don't know. Anyway, so why is it so low? Is it because Auburn might actually beat this team, or is it just because nobody has faith in how LSU plays football?
LSU has a more both, coach.
But LSU has a decisive edge at quarterback because they know who their quarterback is, and they have confidence in him. Whereas Auburn is a freaking dumpster fire with Bo Nix.
Well, here's the irony, though, man.
CK.
Is Auburn's going to start TJ Finley, who left LSU because they started, what's the Miles Brennan, and now Max, whoever the quarterback that sucks at LSU right now. They started these kids. Finley's got a little bit of chip on his shoulder, man. They're finally giving him the ball. They kind of got a spark when he came in against the mighty Georgia State Panthers last week. And he took the game. Well, I mean, who knows? Look, you got a battle of an incompetent coach in Orgeron who's got the superior talent. So you're playing at home. But, man, this is a weird spot, weird line. TJ Finley, is he going to come in with a chip? This is his time to kind of prove everybody wrong. I like these storylines in football. They do mean something from time to time. What is? I'm sorry.
Personally, I want to jump back and look at what CK said earlier. This is a big point that I think we talked about offline the other night. Was when things start going bad and you fire your wide receiver coach, and that doesn't seem to be the problem, you're dead on that. What was that all about?
He's just looking for a scapegoat, man. That's pretty poor. That's pretty poor for him. I'm sorry, man. The problem does not lie at wide receiver. The problem lies at quarterback. Bo Nix ain't it. He's not. And I don't know if that's because Gus Malzahn couldn't develop a quarterback to save his life, or is it because Bo Nix just he peaked at high school and he just doesn't.
And Bo Nix always felt like I was watching Madden 95, where you could keep scrambling back with your quarterback for 40 yards, and then you would throw it and get like a 5-yard route. I'm with you. I don't understand why it took 3 years to figure out that Bo Nix was average.
Yeah. No, and even this year, Heisman hype at the beginning of the year. I mean, like, where does all that stuff come from? And I was buying in after the first couple games against the nobodies, and he was looking pretty efficient. I was like, okay, well, maybe this Harsin system is better for Malzahn. I don't know. Like, I was just giving him the benefit of the doubt, man, because I didn't really know much about this coach coming in. It's outside of he's been at Boise, and so was Dan Hawkins and all the other coaches that didn't do anything when they left.
Well, Bo Nix aside, he hadn't put him in a real good position to win. Their biggest game so far up at Penn State, they come out of the half, and it's almost like he found Malzahn's playbook. I'm sure Auburn fans were like, holy hell, we thought we got rid of this, and he runs a reverse where his receiver throws the ball on the ground. And then with the game on the line, 4th and 2, you don't have Bo Jackson, but you got a dude that kind of emulates Bo Jackson that's a stud back there, and you run a fade. I mean, that's you as an Auburn fan, that does cause some concern.
Hey, let's be honest, maybe on the take now, considering those fumbles last week, right?
Hey, Auburn has not one but 2 guys in that backfield that could have done it.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. What do you know about the receivers coach at Auburn not shutting up in meetings, Kirkendall? What insight have you got there?
He's got some. Now, Davo did spend a lot of time down on the plains, so he may have a little connection into that Auburn family, whatever.
But with that said, they face a coach that's even dumber than Orgeron. Orgeron should have lost in Starkville last weekend. Mm-hmm. I mean, he got out coached then. It's just that State couldn't kick field goals, and State. They're going.
I'm picking against LSU every single week, guys. You just write it down. I got Auburn in this one 100% because. Not because I believe Auburn can beat them. I just think Coach O can screw it up.
I think Auburn's going to win this too. I think Auburn's going to go down and they haven't won since '99. Get the cigars ready, Eagle Tigers.
Frankly, they need it. And look, we need them to get. We need Auburn to be good. As much as we hate it, we need Auburn to be good because it's better when Alabama and Auburn are both good for everything. So, I'm kind of pulling for them a little bit, not too much, just a bit.
I really can't make fun of teams with 27 mascots.
Fair enough. All right.
Are any of y'all drinking? Am I the only one with the Bloody Mary? Or do I the only one that needs a drink to get through this day? Come on.
Coffee,
drinking
baby.
out there? Coffee.
I start out with
muscle milk.
I start out with coffee, man. It's my staple, but trust me, my 10-cup bourbon will be coming out.
How many?
If we were in a noon
have
game,
you done
I'd already
this
be
morning?
hitting it, but I like to give it till at least maybe noon before,
Thank you,
I want to see
Alan.
the beginning of this Arkansas Georgia game with clear eyes. See if I've been confused the last few weeks. So pin you down, Justin, real quick. If you had to guess a score on this Auburn LSU game, where's your head at?
I feel like it's gonna be watching a blooper reel, because it's gonna be the team who gets out of their way gets out of their own way the most probably will win this game. I say 24-17 LSU.
Ooh, 7 points. So he's got LSU in the cover, guys. So what about Petty? You've got Auburn win in this game. I like them to at least cover. So
24-21, Native American burial ground on the road.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe they packed up a couple of those corpses to take with them for extra.
Take your Indians with you, because trust me, weird
that.
shit happens in
Gotta
Baton Rouge on a Saturday night as well.
All right. Well, I've got one more game that sounds very, very, very boring, but I'm wanting to point it out to people because this is a funny situation for these Florida Gators going up to a Kentucky team who's just been doing enough to win.
I'm out. I gotta go get ice. I need ice. Y'all talk about Dan Mullen and this shit. I'm out.
If you can't drink your Bloody Mary hot, then So, Daniel, go ahead and tell everybody you like Florida to cover this spread, and that's why I'm taking Kentucky. That is it, guys. That is the handicapping.
Dan Mullen, woohoo!
Petty is 0-4 in Dan Mullen games this year, and he's got a lot of conviction on Florida. So that means we need to all be on Kentucky, guys.
I have picked against the spread in every Florida game this year.
Hey, what's the over under on Florida's fans flipping off Emory Jones if he makes a mistake?
Oh,
same number as the ones wearing jorts.
Minus 10,000. That was.
I just find that very funny. They're sitting there. The camera is panning around the swamp during the Alabama game, and their fans are flipping him off, and cussing him out. And then the next quarter, they're singing his praises and ready to erect a statue.
Sure.
If Auburn wins this game, and we will post it on all our social media, I want a video, Davo, get Izzy, teacher to run that camera of you rolling a tree out in your yard if Auburn beats LSU. You get you a roll of toilet paper and let it go, buddy.
He's gonna roll Tuscaloosa for the Auburn win.
Well, he can just go roll it in his yard. He's got tons of trees.
Excellent. So I want to get your thoughts on this one. How you think it's going to completely shake out, Justin? Like end of game, does Florida run away?
Yeah, I think they will. They got way too much talent, man, and they really believe in themselves right now. After that show against Alabama, they're fired up, and that was their confidence booster, their coming of age moment, and I think they're going to capitalize the rest of the way out.
They could definitely. They went. They looked a little shaky in the beginning of the Tennessee game last week.
Well,
I thought Tennessee was going to give them a little bit, but is that Bama hangover?
Yeah,
people talk about that.
It is. I mean, that's just a hangover from a big game. But then Florida quickly realized, one, we're playing against our rival, and two, this is Tennessee. What the hell are we doing? Time to get in high gear.
Davo immediately breaks screen right then.
Davo, we bet on Tennessee, dude. We thought y'all would cover. I think, hey, Davo, man, I'm going to be real, and this is probably going to get some daggers and are you on crack moment? If you watch the first quarter of that Tennessee game, y'all had people jump off ship. Y'all don't have a team right now. Y'all don't have an SEC team. Y'all don't have the depth. Y'all don't have the talent. If you look schematically at the first quarter and a half, 2 quarters of that Tennessee-Florida game, y'all didn't have the dudes. And he called up a game to keep y'all in the damn game. Yeah. I know this is crazy, but I actually saw something out of that game that was a positive for Tennessee that's only going to be able to fix if you can give him time to recruit. You can't.
Who do they have Who does Tennessee have this week? We're some bad guys. We can't pull that one out of the hat, right? Are they even playing this week?
Maybe they're off.
Maybe off. I figured they're taking off before Bama.
Woods, and nobody's there to see it.
Well, guys, I'm giving you all the best gambling insights.
Oh, they played Missouri.
Oh, Missouri. Well, that's going to be
the team
a
we're
game.
trying to kick out of this. They've actually got an SEC game, and we didn't know
if
it.
they can go in and have a good showing against Missouri, I'm going to be on Petty's train that they're getting it together. If it looks crappy the whole game or whatever, we'll see. But it's hard to do it without the players. You're right. I mean, they had a mass exodus this year.
I don't think Heupel's I think Heupel's actually, he knows X's and O's. He's not a dummy.
That's good. Well, that's good too, because we want Tennessee to be good, but just not that good.
No, they're just low down.
We need them to be able to go out of the conference and beat people. I'm talking to you, Auburn.
When we pick you to beat Penn State.
Hey.
All right, so
Tennessee laid an egg.
Ooh, we need to tell stories. We got to tell stories.
Well, that's what I got to bring us back to the Alabama Ole Miss game, man. I'm sitting here, I'm looking, we just checked off our 3 games that we wanted to talk about that everybody knows it doesn't matter because the only game on TV this week is Alabama versus Ole Miss. So let's get back to that. And the way that we're going to do it is we're going to jump away from football just a tad, and we're going to get a little story from Daniel here about one morning when he woke up after an Alabama Ole Miss game to a nice gift on his dresser.
In the year of 2000 of our Lord, the Rebels of Ole Miss invaded Tuscaloosa, ranked 23rd in the country. Alabama started the season with hopes of national titles. Freddie Millens returning a punt against UCLA, only to have them dashed. So, my Rebels come into Tuscaloosa. I'm living on campus, feeling high. Deuce is rolling. Bama's flailing. Rebels go up 7-6. Deuce hurts his ankle. Long story short, Bama kicks the shit out of Ole Miss. Kef Bailey, however you say his name, scored a touchdown in that game. That's all you need to know.
Yeah,
Kef Bailey was scoring touchdowns. It was a bad night for the Rebels. But that bad night wasn't as bad as I thought. We partied into the night. I went to Alabama. I love my people. And I went to bed that night, with the sorrows of the Ole Miss loss, and then woke up with a hangover. And that was sitting on my dadgum dresser, like Santa Claus had just come into my room in college and put an Ole Miss football helmet. And I did find out at the time that a buddy of ours, hopefully he's listening, Nick Pantez, was the last purveyor of the helmet to get it to me, because all my
there was and I can take over right here in this one, because a lot of this story happened in between the game and in between Daniel's house, where some of my fraternity brothers had stolen a helmet from the sideline, and nobody really wanted to keep that thing at this point because it was contraband.
And here's the thing: 20 years,
they were most definitely on film when they stole it. I mean, this is one of those situations where they were like, "Okay, we're not Ole Miss fans. I don't want this damn helmet. I sure don't want to go to jail for it. What can we do?" Well, we all know a diehard Ole Miss fan that it lives with some of our fraternity brothers that's perfect person for this. So they snuck over in the middle of the night and set it on his dresser.
So it's sitting on my dresser, and for 20 years, honestly, all I know is Nick Pantez has got me a helmet. My biggest fear is I thought somebody,
you thought it was fake.
Well, no,
you thought it was fake.
No, I didn't think it was fake because you can see the damn inside of it. It's somebody's worn the thing. It's got their initials. What I thought is one of your fraternity brothers had stole it off an Ole Miss fan's tailgate, and it kind of made me feel bad because it's not like I could return the thing, so I had to keep it. But it was stolen from another Rebel fan. So we start this podcast, and a buddy of ours comes on, and we're talking. He talks about this helmet that they stole, and I'm like, dude, I got the helmet. So 20 years later, I find out the actual story of how this helmet came into my possession. Can we say names, Justin?
Well, look, here's what we'll do. I'll tell the story so that I can keep the names and people still safe. I'm sure statute of limitations have run in the last 20 years. However, we'll just say this. When you're a pledge back in those days, you had to do some weird stuff, whether that was go steal some shakers for the actives, or do some things like that, right? They're like, hey, I need a Coke. Go get me a Coke. Bring me a shaker. Do this and that. Well, sometimes when the game was over, if we were winning a lot, they'd get a little more creative, and somebody says, go bring me an Ole Miss helmet. Obviously they don't think that's going to happen, but you never know what you're going to get when you talk to a motivated guy who's had a little whiskey, right? So a very motivated guy with a whiskey, 2 of them went down to the field. And I think when they got down there, as the story goes, they were, starting to get a little skeptical about how this was going to happen. And they started noticing people carrying these big boxes out of the gate to the fan side of the fence from the Ole Miss sidelines. And one of our guys, maybe our NFL guru from our show, pointed to one of the pledges and was like, hey, go grab some of those boxes and follow me. So they went, grabbed the boxes, walked onto the sidelines, and I'm pretty sure when they got to the sidelines, they were like, what do we do now? I don't think any of them thought it was.
We didn't expect to get this far.
Well, they get in there, and they're just like, go grab something. So one guy, R.I.P. Mr. Josh Bottoms.
Josh Bottoms,
great dude, brother. Not with us anymore, but He actually had the nuts to go in there, grab an Ole Miss helmet, sit on top of one of those boxes, and walked straight out with it right by the cop and everything, no problem. So here they are with a game-worn Ole Miss helmet. What player lost his helmet is what I want to know.
I mean, this is straight from this was worn in the 2000. Like some player got his ass.
Some player got in trouble
because he didn't make it to the locker with his helmet.
Yeah, he's probably on his way down to get some revenge for that right now.
Ooh, you got a good question there, Justin.
Oh, Justin, this is one that yes, you got to take this, please.
Okay, yeah. Has losing Chris Allen affected the level of play in Bama's defense? I absolutely think it has, because if you look at that first game against Miami before he went down, I'm looking at the chemistry between him and Will Anderson. And it may be lofty to say this, but I kind of compare it to Eric Curry, John Copeland. Those guys were connected. They played so well off of each other. And these are two guys, man, that their instinct is attack first, ask questions later. I mean, they are some dogs, especially Chris Allen, man. That guy is ruthless. And to be honest with you, I think this year, had he not been injured, he was going to play himself probably into a first-round draft pick, if not a second round, at worst. And it also having him there was taking pressure off of Will Anderson. Offenses had to account for both those guys. Now offenses are having to account for Will Anderson only. He's getting double teamed, triple teamed, etc. And while Drew Sanders has the potential to be a great player, he's not there yet, man. He's got it kind of reminds me of back when I was coaching middle school in Homewood. When those guys who are just learning how to tackle and how to, figure out the whole physical side of things, instead of launching at people, they're waiting for them to come to them and they're pulling them down, and that's kind of what I feel like Drew Sanders is right now. I don't feel like he has the confidence to attack, and he's getting whipped. He's getting whipped when he's in position to do something great, but he doesn't utilize that. He doesn't utilize that moment.
So they're putting him in position. Yeah, I agree with you. That's something I just wanted to agree with you 100%. They are putting him in position.
But having Chris Allen there is huge, because right now there's no one else who is stepping up to be that guy to take pressure off of Will Anderson. Christian Harris being one. He had a fantastic game against Miami, but he really hasn't been that game changer quite yet. Is he playing bad? No. Is he playing good? Yeah, he's good, but he's not Christian Harris elite right now.
Not what you were expecting.
And Henry To'oTo'o is not doing what we thought he would. And I think that may just be because he's still trying to get adjusted to a new defense, new system, trying to get that chemistry locked in.
And we're hoping it takes another game or two, or at least one more game for that to happen.
No, we're not. That's a lie.
We're seeing the chemistry going on. I'm hoping they brought the chemistry department to practice this week to get that stuff taken care of, because that has been it. It's been line chemistry. What happens is, Petty, I'll always go back to this. You coined a term called the Bama test, and nobody ever passes the Bama test but Bama. I mean, it is LSU. Ohio State's not passing it right now. Clemson's losing it. Nobody's passing the Bama test but Bama. And this year we have got a very hard Bama test. We lost how many people to the first round of the NFL? Getting these players back to where they're confident in reacting instead of thinking. And that's what it was Drew Sanders right now. He's in position to do the stuff. He's got all the talent and the skills, and he'll be great in a year or two, I think. It's just that he's not confident enough to trust his instincts yet. And when he gets that, the perfect example of this play, and this was kind of mind-blowing. I've never seen a team do this before, but in the Southern Miss game, we had Will Anderson lined up on the corner. They chipped him with a tight end. They blocked him with a tackle. Within a second of the play starting, both the left guard and Anderson's on the right side, both the other side of the offensive line, left guard and left tackle, pull over to help with Will Anderson and leave Drew unblocked standing there for the whole play. Quarterback rolls over to Drew's side. Drew makes sure he doesn't scramble but doesn't attack. The dude throws and gets 15-yard completion.
Yeah. I
mean, that's what they're playing off of Drew right now, and I'm hoping this week they pull the reins off and say, go get him, kind of,
Man, not to derail, but I saw the message in the comment. It kind of goes back. It's funny. Justin was giving me grief like, you Ole Miss fans don't get over stuff. Well, there's kind of reasons sometimes. You ask why I have a trouble getting over that 1999 game. If you look in the message, there's a thing that says, I got paint ready by J. Jared Smith. Well, when I came back to Tuscaloosa from that 99 game in Oxford, it was November, when your grass is no longer growing. and we didn't have text and all that fun social media stuff. We had the old school ways of screwing with people, and the score was spray painted widely in my damn yard to see for the next 2 daggum months. So you wonder why it sticks with us. That's one of my. I came home. I don't even want to tell what else they did. I might have had a Colonel Rebel dude that pin thing in my yard that was hanging by a noose as well, which is kind of funny.
That will not pass these days for sure.
Kind of funny. Kind of funny irony, but
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we kind of have a hard time. You guys y'all living in Tuscaloosa. I've caught a little bit of shit over the years being a dumb Ole Miss fan.
Listen, bud, I understand your pain. I'm back in Mississippi, and I'm in enemy territory, and there is no love for Alabama from the Ole Miss.
They've got to be humble right now. We can't be going too.
Man, listen, they are red. They smell blood. They think that they have arrived. You know, that's the general consistency that I'm getting right now. And
you said something else yesterday to us, Justin, that I've got to get you to talk about. And this is where I feel, I asked you guys, what do y'all think is the real down and dirty? What is the key to the game? And when you mentioned this yesterday, Justin, I'm right there with you. I think it's leadership. And I want you to talk a little bit about the leadership or the lack thereof that we kind of have at Alabama right now.
Well, offensively, I think the leadership is lacking just because we have younger guys, they're predominant right now. They make up majority of the offense. We got a few of the old heads like Chris Owens and Evan Neal and John Mechie and Brian Robinson Jr. But, for the rest of the guys, they're pretty young. So that there has been that alpha dog who really has stepped up, I guess, and taken the reins and it just started leading on that side of the ball. But, I think with that, though, it'll come, as the season progresses. Now, defensively, there's no excuse when it comes to leadership because that is a veteran-laden defense. I mean, majority of those guys, they've been there. Christian Harris has been – this is his third year, man.
Yeah.
You've got, Will Anderson is trying to be that leader, but he can't do it by himself. I was talking, and it's not just me seeing this. I've talked to other Alabama guys. I was talking to Christian Jones, former dynamic wide receiver and kick returner for us under Saban. He said, it comes down to the leadership. He said, I don't feel like it's there right now. And it's very evident because, you've got guys who are out of position. Yeah, I know give Pete Golding hell right now. Everybody is. But some of this goes back to the players, man. There isn't discipline in their play. They're out of position. They're not communicating well. But one of the big things is, making dumb mistakes. The pass interference calls that Josh Jobe apparently just draws to him at all times. And one of the things that's been very, very frustrating during Pete Golding's tenure is the same amount of penalties, man. I think it was last year or a year before, we were averaging 10 plus penalties a game. Against Florida, we had 11 or 12 penalties. You can't do that. Not in this game, man. You cannot give any edge to Ole Miss, who's ready, man. They've had this game circled on their calendar since last year.
364 days ago.
Yes. So you don't give them any edge.
The key on leadership, and I mean, I think we've got, some players. Two things, accountability and experience really play a lot into that whole leadership equation, right? You got to have the experience to be able to tell people what to do. And then, you got to hold them accountable, right? And I think we're lacking on the accountability because everybody hasn't meshed enough. They're not tight enough yet to be able to really get on each other. You can't, even like when you hire a new employee or something like that, you can't give them hell on day 1, day 2. You got to let them get used to you first before you drop the hammer on them, right? And it seems like all of that dynamic is still just kind of processing. And most of the time when that happens to teams, they lose 5 or 6 games. You know what I mean? So that's my optimism to the thing. All right. And, we haven't, in Pete Golding's defense, he hasn't had an experienced middle linebacker in the last 2 years to anchor that team. Now, we did have, again, a middle linebacker last year that came back off an injury, guy that played in the middle, but he was still, getting back. We haven't had that guy that's been there for 2 years, 3 years, learning under another guy to step in and take the reins. So I'm slightly, ask me this question again after today's game, but I'm inclined to give Golding just a little bit of slack in that area right now.
Wow,
in
man.
that regard, maybe
the world's smallest violins playing in my house for you Bama guys. Worried. I mean, we hadn't had a middle linebacker in 2 years.
Well, I mean, Shane Lee got thrown in early last year back there. This year, Toto, I mean, he's great. He's just only been in our system for 6 months. You know what I mean? So there's some learning curve there. I expect by the end of the season that this is going to be a lockdown defense. I hope.
I don't think that's Alan Lloyd you were thinking there, Michael. I think Allen's might be a rebel.
Oh, yeah. I know it's not Alan Lloyd. That dude's still asleep.
Well, you said something about the Nintendo Switch. I was thinking it was Alan Lloyd for a minute. No, yeah, I agree. I actually wrote this. I do a Petty's Pointless Ponderings, which is mindless. But one of the things I said a week or two ago is Ole Miss better clean up the penalties. You give Alabama extra 100 yards. You can't. Okay, man, you want to know the keys? Look, when you want to go beat Alabama, you got to have some breaks go your way, and you got to almost be damn perfect. You can't
don't turn it over.
You can't don't turn it over. Don't have stupid penalties. And you've got to not be scared to make the big play. But yeah, you got to clean up the penalty. That's been an Ole Miss problem. God, we've been sloppy with that. So, I'm a Rebel Grover strike. Oh, this is one of my Rebel Grovers. Heck yeah, man. I love that. That's awesome.
Welcome to the show, Alan, man. We appreciate you coming in here and talking to us.
I need some love, man. I don't know if you've seen Alan. I've been getting hammered about the beauty of my jersey, everything else from all these damn Bammers.
Hey, we've got more Hotty Toddies than we got Roll Tide on this stream today so far. I mean,
well, we had Kirkendall on there.
Yeah,
so.
Of course. He's anything but Bama is David's cheer.
Oh, wow.
Now, you need David Kirkendall.
Tennessee fan, grew up in Tuscaloosa.
Grew up in Tuscaloosa. His number 2 team is Auburn. Hey, so his hatred for Bama, having to live with Bama when his number 1 and 2 are Auburn and Tennessee, is just expounded. And he's gone to several Alabama Ole Miss games and stole my hats for the game. No, I appreciate you, Alan. No, we're glad, man. This has been a good time. We're rookies now. Justin's not a rookie at this, but me and Michael are absolutely rookies.
Oh, this is the first time we've ever gone live and the first time we've ever gone on video. So that's really 2 big problems.
Problems. We're just working through all the if we're bumbling. You know, I know you watch McCready and those guys. They're really good. Tell them to turn this on and learn some tricks.
Get some of these real insights, right? The ones that aren't coming from the insiders and the people that know. You know, sometimes a good outside opinion's good, right? Sometimes
I'll tell you what, man. What it seems like to me, and I said this to Michael, and here's kind of, I guess, my last take on it. You could come to me 10 minutes before kickoff and lay out 10 different outcomes to this game, and not a one of them would shock me. I think Ole Miss could come out of the gate on fire, and Alabama have to play catch up. I think Ole Miss could come out of the gate and let that moment get to them, and Bama make that big play where there's a turnover and Ole Miss play from behind. And they haven't had to do that. That's a different deal. I also could see a game where Bama takes the opening kickoff and decides we're going to run the damn ball and not let you on the sideline, and everybody's shocked when the final score is 28-17 or something, or 28-14 or something. Yeah, I don't expect Ole Miss not to score that low. But again, I guess bottom line is you could tell me 10 different scenarios and I would not be shocked. And some of them have my Rebs winning.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Rebels winning this game is a non-zero chance. I think Rebels winning this game handily is a non-zero chance. On the other hand, same thing for Bama. You know, so which way is it going to go? Right? I would not be shocked. Bama wins 41-17. I would not be shocked. Bama wins 41-31, which is actually my predicted score. I'm about to drop out there.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, I'm just hoping that this is one of those days where nothing goes. Everything's just normal, boring. Bama goes out and talent takes over the game. And not saying that Ole Miss is devoid of talent. No, I'm just saying their talent doesn't go 3 deep like ours does.
And that's the fun, man. Kiffin is his biggest concern all year is he's tried to tell the Rebel Nation, we've got a depth problem. Hey, man, magic can happen. You got to have a lot of luck, but we're thin, and it could, you know, a few key injuries, and the team looks real different when you don't have the depth.
Well, I mean, he made the point very clear. He was talking about that last year in the press conference. You know, when you have a situation like that, you know, when you have a team like Alabama against the ropes, you got to take them out. You know, just like with Alabama against Florida, you know, we had them on the ropes, down 21-3 in the first quarter, and instead of knocking them out, it's like we didn't believe that they were going to fight back. And boy, they fought back, and they were swinging and landing some punches. We survived, that. The thing is, Alabama can't go into it with this kind of philosophy. If we have the opportunity to put this team out, knock them out. Got to. You don't give them confidence. Don't let them in. I mean, I don't feel like you were saying earlier, it's going to be like a runaway for Alabama or either team. But if the opportunity is there,
say that.
You got to take it.
You do. I need some. If somebody wants to send me some Bama glasses to put on when I start talking, like I'm about to start talking right now,
here we go.
I just say put them on, slip them over the eyes, and say this:
"Bring it, birthday boy. Let's hear it."
It's my birthday, and I want an Alabama victory for it. That's it. But you derailed me on the birthday comment there. But this.
Sorry, brother.
I think Kiffin pulled out every single play in his notebook last year. And I know he's drew some more this year. I just don't think he's got 20 of them like he did last year. I really do think the defense, we've been harping them all week. It's been reverse rat poison on the defense for 2 weeks, right? They're going to come out and play football. And Daniel, your Rebels are going down 41-31. And that's only because they're going to get that last second touchdown in garbage points and then try an onside, and then we're going to go victory formation, win it by 10, not covering the 10.5 that I said the line should be. 14.5's ignorant.
Ignorant. Nice. Love it, Michael. So are we giving our final? Is this the final?
Is that what we're transitioning to?
That's cute, Alan, saying Florida's a good team. I'm not sold on that.
So are we doing our final?
That's it. I just gave you my final one. It looks like we're reeling it in, unless you guys have any more big points. Before you do your prediction, I'm going to leave it to you, and I'm going to let you go last, Justin. Since you're our guest, you get to close this thing down with the real heat, because Petty and I are full of shit and you're not. So
sweet.
Let's get Petty's insights, and he's going to have to take off all of the equipment to buy. Of course, I was putting on the Rebel helmet.
Are you ready? Hell yes! Damn right. Hotty Toddy, gosh almighty, who the hell are we? Hey, flam, flam, bam, bam. Ole Miss, by damn. Rebels, 42, Tide, 38.
Woo, 42-38. You heard that, Rebel fans. Y'all going to pull a victory out today.
Well, I can't wait for this after show.
Muting Petty right now. No more of that garbage, right? It's good to be king. It's good to have the mute button, man. I got you back on there, Petty. That's just a joke. I like it, dude. I like it. I hate it. The result, but I like the enthusiasm. Again, you saw me. You heard me talk about. I texted you. I was like, "These Miami fans sure are having a good time before the game today," and I'm hoping
I've
to
been
send
humble
that same
all week,
text out
man.
about Ole Miss.
I got to let it loose today. If I can't have fun today, I might not get to for a few more. This is my few hours of letting it go. So,
well, everybody uses that term. This is their Super Bowl, right? Well, this is Ole Miss's Super Bowl. This is Alabama's Super Bowl. Whatever. This is Michael and Petty's Super Bowl this week, guys. So.
Hey man, my Thanksgiving's on the line. What are you talking about? I'm in Mississippi.
Boy.
You think your Thanksgiving's on the line? Why don't you go sit down with a bunch of Ole Miss greats and have a 92-year-old lady tell you that because you're a Bama fan, you're barely allowed at the table?
Yeah, hey, this man's married to Ole Miss royalty up in the. I don't know. Are y'all top left?
Man, but
look, I'll tell you, just to give you an idea. Archie Manning's starting running back, Bo Bowen, during his run down there, married my wife and I a couple years ago. So we got some Ole Miss ties.
Deep.
Okay.
Deep.
All right, Justin.
So I feel for you being over there, buddy. I'm glad I'm in North Carolina on neutral ground this week, because I ain't got to deal with it. I can hide if I need to.
Justin cannot hide. So what's happening, Justin? Will you have to hide or will you not?
Let's hear
it. Either way, man. I mean, I'm in hostile territory without question. But, gentlemen, games like this is why players come to Alabama, for the big moments, for the moments that are going to determine the rest of the season. You don't come to Alabama if you're not ready for that. You don't come to Alabama if you're not ready to be in prime time. You don't come to Alabama if you're not ready to be seen on a national scale. And this
is Arch Manning listening?
So my question is to John Mechie. My question is to Brian Robinson. Are you boys ready to get in that paint today? Y'all ready to cross that end zone? I'm calling out John Mechie. I want you to play big boy ball today.
Make us happy.
Before I need you
do what we think you can do, John Mechie, and lay somebody out too. Just occasion, just every now and then, just knock somebody out again for us because that was awesome.
But I need John Mechie. I'm calling out Fedarian Mathis, Big Phil. I want pressure on that quarterback today. I'm calling out that defensive line. I want you to crush that offensive line in front of you, get to the quarterback, and put him on his tail. I need Bryant-Denny Stadium to get loud. And I know it can get loud because I've been there when it's been deafening. And it's time for us to show up. It doesn't get much bigger than this, guys. It doesn't get much bigger than this year. Forget Auburn, forget Tennessee, forget whoever else is on the schedule. This is the game right now.
If you are going to Tuscaloosa today and you are sitting in the upper deck and you are not terrified for your life that the whole thing is going to collapse, y'all aren't doing it right.
Exactly.
You're wrong. Concussion bomb.
So
I've heard it get there, man. I've heard Bryant-Denny turn into a concussion bomb.
Oh, Terrence Cody blocked a kick one time and it got a little bit loud.
Choo-choo.
A little bit loud. I was actually on the quad watching that game, and it made our satellite flicker.
But if it gets quiet, there's something you hear off in the distance at any time you're in Tuscaloosa. And if you've lived in Tuscaloosa, you know this. You live anywhere in Tuscaloosa. At any time in Tuscaloosa, and early in the morning, late at night, you hear that choo-choo. Choo-choo.
Oh, dude.
That train running
the train
through
used
town.
to dock in Tuscaloosa. We're not idiots. We know about it.
The train runs right through Tuscaloosa.
He's still got a station there waiting for when Lord Saban leaves and he comes over to when Mama calls.
You shut your dirty mouth.
You take your rebel nonsense out of my rant right now. I need you to take that. This is not about you right now, Petty. It's not about you. But anyway, I'm asking for Bill O'Brien to keep it on the ground and feed B-Rob, feed Jace McClellan today. Let them have 100 apiece. I'm calling Bama 38, Ole Miss 31.
Ooh, you got a close one too.
There you go.
Every single picker on this game has picked Ole Miss to cover. And I'm going to tell you guys something real quick about gambling before we go. The goal of the entire thing is to get half the money on one side and half the money on the other. Because if you know anything about juice or the VIG or whatever you want to call it, that's free money. If everybody's betting against each other, they're just collecting. Now, the rest of the country outside of SEC Nation has no idea how good Ole Miss is. I've talked to my Penn State friends. I've talked to my friends out west. Everybody's like, oh, Bama's just going to run over them. So that means we've all got an advantage down here. We understand this game ain't going to be as wide blowout as everybody thinks it is. Vegas knew that. Vegas moved this line 4 points north just to compensate for that, to try to get people on both sides because of the perception that Ole Miss is no good outside of the SEC. So, guys, watch this game, 10-point game. Bama wins 41-31. Petty cries, I'm happy.
Love it, baby. Can't have any other way on game day. I hope you have a great birthday outside of, the final score of the game.
Don't do that to me, buddy. I'm your boss. Remember, Monday morning's going to be rough.
But listen, man, I know we've been carrying on.
Calling in sick.
That's okay. You got plenty of sick time.
I know we've been carrying on and whatnot, but the fact is, I'm not one of the typical Alabama fans who makes life miserable for everybody else. I'm Alabama first, SEC second, so I got nothing but respect for Ole Miss and any team that comes through there. So just because I'm a little fired up doesn't necessarily mean that I'm one of those guys. So, but yeah, I got nothing but respect. I love what Lane Kiffin is doing. I think he is the guy in Oxford. He has changed the culture there. It's not like the Ole Miss of old. Things have changed. No. So, yeah, Ole Miss faithful will be excited about what he does. And if he has some growing pains here and there, don't lose faith in him, man. He's going to be the guy who brings a title home.
I hope that's 100%. The case. Growing
right
up
before he comes back to Bama to be our coach when Saban leaves.
Growing up, I was growing up in Mississippi. I was definitely, brainwashed for the red and blue. But moving over to Tuscaloosa in '94, my mindset on football was reforged in the shadows of the Crimson Mecca that is Alabama. I went to Alabama. People don't understand, man. Alabama, I know outside. Bama's got such a big fan base. They get a lot of bad raps at times. But like Justin said, man, I have the people that I went to school with changed my perception of Alabama. I absolutely have so much love for the university and the people and their knowledge of football and their respect. I've walked out of so many games with Bama fans pat me on the back saying, "Hey, good game," with much respect.
This works for you too, Petty. You've got one.
Oh yeah, like so there is some a lot of crimson love in this red and blue heart, but for 3.5 hours today, I hope we get your ass.
Fair enough, man. Well, guys, got a couple things to do today. I need to get back into these gambling lines, find the good ones. If you haven't listened to our latest episode with Marvin and Justin from the Bama Standard, get back and listen to that game before it turns 12 o'clock. There is some gambling advice on there from Marvin that you guys need to know. We need to all get it this week because there's bookies listening too, and they're going to screw us over.
Speaking of Marvin, guys, I want to take this opportunity to plug our show on Tuesday, the Bama Standard, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, on my YouTube channel, the Justin Riley Network, or you can just search for the Bama Standard. Also stream live on our Twitter account at the Bama Standard. But we're going to be recapping this game. We're going to, of course, be previewing Texas A&M. But if you're not used to us, we do analysis like I just said. But every week, if you're an Alabama fan, you need to tune in because we have a different Alabama legends.
Great show. It is fantastic. And they no holds barred on that thing.
Yes, sometimes it's more than one. And it's not like your typical show or interview, man. This is like locker room talk. Us joke on each other, us reliving the good moments.
Dude, and Justin's not talking about, like, he's talking Alabama legends, Trenton, Wesley Britt, Chris Samuels, George Teague, man. Seriously, I hate to jump in your plug, but as an Ole Miss fan, if you are a Bama fan and not listening to this, you are missing out. It's a very all your show. Favorite players that you.
And look, I've learned so much. I just started listening to this show a few weeks ago when Daniel introduced me to Justin, and it got on my radar and everything. And I've learned so much about how players think about football, and that's helping me in gambling, guys. So I really think you should pay attention to this show because it pays money. That's my value.
We're feeding his addiction. So that's one. That's one aspect of it. But it's me, former Alabama linebacker, all SEC linebacker Marvin Constant. Comedy legend Steve Brown, and senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama magazine, Stephen M. Smith, who is deity in Alabama. He has appeared regularly on the Paul Feinbaum show, so he's got street cred. And if you want to know something about Alabama, he is the guy to ask. But tune in this Tuesday. We're going to rewind it back to 1999. We've got Antonio A.C. Carter, one of the most dynamic wide receivers to ever play, and one of the greatest hype men. This guy is a motivational speaker / pastor. So if you're going to watch the show, we're going to have church. But
can you please answer a question I wanted to know since I went to Alabama? We never knew what the other C. I've always called him Antonio Carter. What's the other C?
Man, we don't talk about that.
Oh.
No, I was going to say, with Antonio, with AC, is going to be his running mate, the man that lit up the scoreboard in 1999, the man who's responsible for bringing the SEC championship home, Mr. Freddie Millins.
Excellent. I knew who you were going with that. I actually picked up on the hype.
Finest.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, Freddie was a big deal, man.
And now, do you guys broadcast at 7 o'clock on Tuesday nights? Is that right? 7 o'clock Eastern?
Yes.
7 o'clock Eastern, Tuesday nights, Bama Standard, guys. And if you guys are familiar with our website, weekzerosports.com, if you look at episode 43, there's a couple links in the comments. You've got a link to Justin's page where you can always find them every Tuesday night. There's also a link to Marvin's website where he's got a book that's Being Physically and Mentally Fit Over 40 that I myself need to get, as you guys can see, a little bit of reading done on.
Hey, but also, too, guys, fans, we let y'all interact. We got the live chat going too, man. So if there's something you want to ask any of us, if you want to ask any of the players, that's your opportunity, man. We make it available to you guys. So we're for the fans, man.
And this is the first time that we've ever got to interact with fans during the show, and that was a lot of fun. And I have a feeling we're going to be doing a lot more of this, right, Petty?
Oh yeah, this just we popped the cherry today, buddy.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? This is all thanks to Justin and Marvin for coming on to our show, helping us realize we can do this and giving us a little bit of credibility because, frankly, nobody knows the people we bring on. We're all funny and we have fun, but, we don't have any legit credibility. So thank you very much, Justin. You've been great for us. We really appreciate it. We can't wait to do this a lot more.
We appreciate you, Justin, man. This has been fun. I hope you're hey, man, maybe we can make this a little Saturday gathering.
Well, that's what hey, you people who are watching right now, I'm trying to convince my boys right here to go live weekly and I've offered my channel to do it. So what do you think, guys? Is this something that you want to see these two men live and in person weekly instead of just listening to them? I mean, I'd love to have the show.
Wow.
I'd love to have the show regularly airing on my network, not just on Game Day.
Thanks, CK, for the kind words. You know what?
Hey,
as much crap as we give Auburn, and it's almost like if you ever hear me talking about South Carolina, because they're like the little brother state for us. South Carolina's a beautiful place, don't get me wrong, but because they're like I call them the sidecar state. They're just tagged on there, and they just suck all of our money out, and you really can't do much with them. You just want to get them off, but they're kind of stuck there. I really love South Carolina, like I really do love Auburn and all the Auburn faithful. But I hope you guys lose every time you play Bama for the rest of your lives.
War Eagle today, CK.
Yes, I've never had any problems out of an Auburn fan base at all. It's that
pretty classy.
It's that cool rivalry where everybody just kind of picks on each other. Now Tennessee, they low down, they dirty.
They low down, they dirty, they snitches. Low down, they dirty, and they snitches.
Well, guys, one more thing. If you could do us a favor and jump on your favorite podcast app and hit subscribe and tell it to auto download, even if you don't get to us on Thursday or Friday, maybe you're even listening a week or two late. As long as it downloads that thing, we know that we've got people out there and it makes it worth it for us to come back and do it again. So first off, thank all of you. I know it's the first time you've ever seen my ugly face, so I apologize, right? Thank you very much.
We're not going to get prettier. You might need to drink if you watch, if you want us to get prettier. It's kind of like
especially if it's on a Tuesday night or something.
We're the ugly chick in the bar. You need a whiskey or two to find us cute.
Brother P, thanks, buddy. Brother P, this one. I hope we can get Brother P out here.
Brother P, you want to come on the show?
Doing some more interaction. Might be one of the funniest human beings alive right there. So let's hope. Maybe we have to go an hour later next time. He was probably snoozing, right?
You think I brought up the Bear Bryant thing the first time it ever got played? I think Brother P had some emotions come out.
Listen,
he had to turn away from his date in the student section, let her know he got a little sand in the eye.
Wipe off a little dew from the eyeball.
Listen, listen, Daniel. I'm gonna speak on that too, man. When I first got to Alabama as a student, and they rolled that footage, man, of Bear Bryant talking, and then showing the championships year by year and the moments, and as it escalates throughout the little movie, man. I mean, I don't care who.
The words, the championship.
Yeah, you get crunk.
Motivation, winners, intimidation, dude.
All the hits on all the
I don't care what fan base you're a part of, man. That hits different. And
if you played football in your life and you have a football breathing pulse in your body, and you step into Bryant Denny and that don't put chills on your body, we're not the same dude.
And I've seen it countless times, and every single time, man, my hair stand up. When back when we were there, they showed that clip of George. They showed that clip of George Teague in the strip. Man, when that happened, man, I was ready to go, man.
Just ready to jump through the damn wall with them. Yes.
Exactly. Let's go.
Well, guys, that's perfect. Let's get this kind of enthusiasm going because we've got a kickoff in 56 minutes so that we can watch Arkansas scare the ever-living shit out of the Georgia Bulldogs. We got a big day on the slate. Petty's got Dan Mullen, so I've got Kentucky. Let's get this thing done, y'all. Great. Roll Tide.
Hotty Toddy.
All right, over and out, guys. Thank y'all so much.
Loved it.